What's up guys, it's McNulty here. Welcome back to the channel, and we are good to go with the legendary heroes in the nature element. So we are going to be counting down the top 10 nature heroes in Empires and Puzzles today, and I'm pretty excited about this. This list is actually one of the shorter lists. There's only 116 heroes in here. I say only 116. That's still quite a lot of heroes. But believe it or not, I found this one of the most difficult lists to judge on the nature heroes. I mean, there is some complete disparity between these heroes. So it's been a tricky challenge to pick out the top 10 heroes. But I think we've done it. So we've got our top 10. So I'm going to go through all of these heroes. We're going to separate out the S tier heroes from the rest, the best from all the rest. And also, guys, just before we get started, I want to thank you guys for your support in this video series. It's been absolutely amazing just hearing from you guys on how much you've enjoyed this series. And I want you guys to let me know if you'd like me to do the same for the 4 stars and the 3 stars as well. That's something that I've been thinking about. But let's try. So let's see if we get this video to, let's say, just 150 likes on this video. And I'll do the 4 stars and the 3 stars. Okay, so that is the condition that we're going to follow. But for now, we're going to jump right in. We're going to go down these lists and pick out the S tier heroes. So we're going to start off in the far corner with my man Amos. Absolute S tier hero, just a rush superstar, and the only fire reflect actually, which is amazing considering there are 116 nature heroes in this list. He's kind of a unique hero. Doesn't work in all formats, but in rush he's an absolute beast. So S tier hero right off the bat. Now moving along a little bit further down the row, we've got Archie. He would be an S tier hero for me as well. New release into the Easter Heroes just last year. And he's amazing. He just stops you buffing your team. So if you're going to rely on buffs, beware. And he fires off super quick. So yeah, S tier for me. And Arco, still the best fiend counter in the game by a country mile. Just an absolutely brilliant hero. He's an excellent healer. He gets rid of those fiends. He boosts health. I mean, he is amazing. Just a great hero. Arco, definitely S tier. Athos next to him, on the other hand, I'm not going to say is an S tier hero. I know I might take some flack for that. But I'm going to say that he is probably an A+ hero. He is, in terms of the other musketeers that we've seen, I mean, you know, the likes of Constance, the likes of Milady de Winter, he doesn't quite, I mean, the likes of Aramis, he doesn't just quite stand the test of time as well as those other heroes. So unfortunately, I'm not the hugest fan of Athos, although he is a good hero, A+ hero, not quite in the top echelon of the heroes in the game. Right next to him, Thomas is terrible. Please just chuck him in the soul exchange. He's an absolute terrible hero, even with the costume. And Augustus on the end of the row, I'm going to give him, just for his shroom pipe or whatever the hell he's smoking, he is an S tier hero just for the priority cleanse in rush. He makes a really good part of a rush defense team, and a really good healer as well. Now moving on to the second row, we've got Sleepy Balbar, who I'm not a fan of. I did level him up, but I never used him, and he's pretty terrible. That sleep effect does not work in Empires and Puzzles, or at least they haven't found a way to make it work yet. Boom and Fang, I'm going to say not quite. I mean, a really good hero, but one of the few goblins that I wouldn't put in the S tier. An A+ hero, very good, very annoying with that counter attack. That massive beefy boar minion just gets up to no good. And that card makes me smile. Just an interesting looking card. But yeah, moving along, Kongolak. I don't know. You know, I can't not say Kongolak's an S tier hero. He is fantastic, but again, we've got some rush superstars in nature, and he is among those. Just the right class, hits like a truck, and when he does, there's no coming back. So yeah, he's an S tier, but very limited to the rush format, I would say. Desmond, unfortunately, I don't think he quite makes the cut. I mean, he is quite conditional, being the super elemental. He does rely heavily on that, and hits the edges, which I'm not a huge fan of. So yeah, A plus for Desmond, not quite S tier. Edwin, actually really like this guy. I underestimated him initially, but despite the way he looks, he just a creepy butler. He is an absolutely brilliant hero. I mean, he is like Sobek but running at fast speed. Just bypasses everything, and he gets the attack up ether talent, running at fast speed, like I said before, and he's just an excellent hero. So S tier for Edwin as well, and not so much for Eora and Fluffy on the end of the row. Econite, just a sick looking ninja. I really like the way Econite looks, and I do like his special as well, although I haven't seen him used much. Like, I think if I had to pick, he's probably in one of the top 5 rarest heroes that I've seen in the game. Maybe they just didn't want to give him out. Maybe people just haven't leveled Econite. But I think he's got an absolutely amazing effect with those sort of counter-attack minions. I thought he would be better. But yeah, I'm still going to say he's an S tier hero. Just a really great hero. And Elna Daha next to him, S tier all day long. I can't wait to see what they do with her costume because she's a beast already. And then next to her, Elkanen. Now, Elkanen's costume, this costume, the second costume for Elkanen, is just one of the worst freaking costumes to deal with because he hits the whole team at fast speed, and with the stat boost, that hit is pretty damn hard, and then he makes it so that you can't come back from it, so he negates the healing. Now that he's got the Toon costume running as well, either the Toon costume or this costume, Elkanen is just a beast, and very tricky to face. I've gone down against him a few times, and I've definitely underestimated Elkanen with the second costume. I would say S tier all day long. And then Enigmo, the weird looking thing from like the rarest hero in the game. He's absolutely terrible. He just doesn't really work as intended. Interesting skill. Don't know what kind of family that's supposed to be. But yeah, him and alongside Mysterio, they're both pretty not that great heroes. Enigmo's better than Mysterio, but still not S tier. Evelyn, fantastic hero, a lot of usability, I would say S tier. Obviously her defense down against nature is second to none. Just an insanely good hero, especially if you do manage to grab her costume. And then Ferris, not a huge fan of Ferris, unfortunately. I just think he's too slow. He doesn't do enough, and I think he has received a buff, but it's still not quite enough. Now next to him we've got Ferris, who is a beast, and I mean, enough said, just an interesting and unique construct talent, construct core. I think he's the only one with that. I think it's the poison core, or I can't remember what the freaking core is, but it's a dot damage core, and we haven't got anybody else with that. And then the ether talent as well, plus the amount of damage, the amount of bleed. It's just he just wrecks the team, and that is what you want. So Ferris is a plus, I mean, a S tier hero all day, no doubt. Francine A plus. Frigg also A plus with the costume. I wouldn't say so much the base version of Frigg, but then this little guy, little frog prince, is actually a freaking monster. I've been up against him a few times, and that poison damage is massive. Plus, he actually heals him. Like, I don't know what he does, but like, there's some kind of black magic effect with Frog Prince. I remember literally reading his card. I've read it not that long ago, like literally a couple of days ago, and completely forgot what he does when I'm on the spot in this video. But he is an incredible hero. If you do grab him, level him, because you'll have a lot of fun playing around with him. He is an S tier hero, I would say. And then next to him, Frond is just the master of disaster. Frond has probably the hardest hitting hit 3 in the game. And that plus his core, plus him being a construct, plus the buff that he's recently received. If you're going up against him, you better beware, because he can absolutely kill 3 heroes just with a single shot if you're not careful. So S tier for Frond. Galapago. Galapago He's a good minion destroyer, and his damage, he has received a buff, but I still don't think that he is the greatest hero. I'm sorry to say, I'm not a huge fan of Galapagos from the Untold Tales. I'm saying all the heroes that I don't like. I'm supposed to be saying the ones I do. Okay, so we're going to scrap that. We're going to move on. We're just going to focus on the S tier heroes. All right, I just don't want to disappoint anybody, okay? I'm a people pleaser. What can I say? So Gellert, I would say S tier, definitely an insanely good hero. Just a single target hitter, but he hits like a truck. Ginger, I would put her in the S tier as well, even though she doesn't work quite as well as some other heroes. Like, I mean, you'd think she was kind of a Guardian Hippo like, or a Dark Feather like hero, but she just isn't, because she's very reliant on other heroes around her. It's kind of a tricky mechanic to work with. But yeah, I'd still put her in the S tier, especially if you're using her on attack. I think she's a lot more fun to play with. On defense, I think she's a bit too easy to deal with. Grace would be probably the only nature hero of the month that I would put in the S tier. I think that she just has such an insanely good effect. I use her all the time, and that defense down against special skills is just insane. And there's so many great hit 3 heroes and hit all heroes with damage in nature that she can complement pretty much any team. Plus, the fact that she shuts down taunt is amazing as well. So S tier for Grace, and she's received a nice little buff as well. Green Knight, another one we've got to put in the S tier. Even though he hasn't quite been as an impactful hero as I thought he was going to be. In fact, when Green Knight was released, I remember thinking, oh shit, this is like the beginning of the end. He's going to break the game and there's going to be no coming back from it. But actually, there is. And he's not that scary of a hero to face. Like, there are scarier heroes than Green Knight to go up against. And I'm quite surprised to be saying that like a few months on after his release, because there are a few ways to deal with him. But yeah, he's still an S tier hero, just not quite as good as some others. Guan Yu is awesome. Just an S tier hero all day long. Gives the defense down with a pretty decent hit as well, and bypasses the minions, which sometimes can be to his detriment. But I think most of the time it works just fine. So S tier hero in Guan Yu as well. Now moving on. Guardian Chameleon is an awesome hero in very specific circumstances. So I wouldn't quite give him the S tier badge, but he's fantastic if you know where and how to use him. Hammer Tusk, on the other hand, who's right next to Guardian Chameleon, is a beast in all areas. He is everything that Franz aspires to be. Franz is a great hero, don't get me wrong. I've got mine second limit broken, and I take him absolutely everywhere. But Hammer Tusk is one hero that I would just literally would change my entire roster overnight. Like, he is that good of a hero. Just the special is so simple, but it's devastating. Hallstone, I believe that Hallstone has been given a buff. He's been had a name change. When he was released, he was running at slow speed. Now it looks like he's running at average speed. So I've got no idea what's going on with Hallstone at the moment. But I do think he's a good hero. But I said when I reviewed him when he was released, I was like, actually, you know what? There are a lot of counters for this guy. And I think he's been receiving a lot of buffs because of that. So we'll see where he lands now that he's running at average speed, according to this. And I believe this is correct. But yeah, just an A plus hero. I'm not going to say S tier. Costume Heimdall is probably next to... God, what's the blue reviver's name from the Stag family? I forget her name now. But I would say next to her, he's the best reviver, best slow speed reviver in the game. And taken the throne away from Mother North, who we'll probably be getting to in just a moment. So yeah, an S tier hero for Heimdall if you have his costume. If you don't have his costume, then hell no, he's not S tier. Iku Turso, not an S tier hero, but still a good hero. Jade got a buff recently. Costume Cadolin. I mean, I think when they released toon costume, because the original version of Catelyn, I think, was a very underused hero, because of that massive defense against special skills. She was so amazing. I used to use her all the time running at fast speed, and she would just put up this wall that nobody could get through. And I think it's a huge defense against special skills. But if they bring the toon costume out and that then becomes undispellable, for nature heroes, I think she's going to be an absolute S tier hero all day long. As it is, though, the costume too for Catelyn is absolutely amazing. So S tier just for that, with the dodge and summons the minions, but probably not quite as meta as it was not that long ago. And we are seeing some pretty frantic changes in terms of the pace of the game and things like that. Kai next to her, very fast speed hero, absolutely hard hit, and that fiend is a monster as well. I believe he's a fiend summoner. I hope I didn't get that wrong. But yeah, Kai is great. S tier all day long. And Lady of the Lake, how can we forget about Milady? She is an insanely good hero. With the buff for the costume that she's received, she is an absolute beast. Not in the costume version, though. If you do get her, please don't use her in the costume version. Why would you want to do that? Just use her as she was intended with those mana cut minions. She is fantastic. And you can get her up to 9 tiles if you have a bard hero. So again, double fantastic. Leaf Whisk, also an amazing hero. Too many S tier heroes to name in this list. That's why I said this is just so hard sometimes. Leaf Whisk is amazing. He's just playing the flute, doing his thing, but just one of the best support heroes in the game. Hands down, excellent hero all day long. Liana, we've just seen the toon costume released. It's not on this list, but she is a fantastic hero, so definitely an S tier hero for me. Just a super strong hitting sniper. But that is all she does. I mean, she does have that costume benefit, but she's still pretty damn good. Liu Bei, another hero I would put in the S tier. He's very usable, been featured recently in a Soul Exchange, so a lot of people have him. And those counter-attack minions are very tricky if you don't have a minion destroyer to deal with them when he throws them up. Ma'at, just the most beautiful hero in the game, just absolutely stunning. And she has received a costume, which again is not on this list. And yeah, she's just an S tier hero. Who else from this next row? So Mistweaver, I would definitely put in S tier. Fast speed hero, massive amount of damage, and just stops your healing altogether. So very crippling as well. Mother North, she's got to still be S tier. She's just probably hovering on the edge, but still such a fantastic reviver that you can't knock her. And then Myonie, I mean, a lot of healers in this list as well, but Granny Ninja has got it going on. She is definitely an S tier hero from this list. Just a fantastic, fantastic healer and support hero. And that's going to be about it from that row. Phileas Fogg is fantastic, great defense down in nature, but that's about all. And then the priority Dispel, but just to a single hero. Prince Siegfried, interesting skill, S tier hero, yes. But we don't have enough information about him for me to say whether he's that usable. I haven't seen him a lot in Slow Speed Wars. I do think he's going to be an excellent hero, but again, just probably like on the verge of not knowing at the moment, I think is the worst bit for him. Queen Anne's fantastic, S tier all day long. Quenelle Beast Mode, just a fantastic hitter, S tier as well. Costume Ratatoska, I think I missed that one when released into the Valhalla portal. Please let me know if he has actually been released or not. But yeah, Ratatoska's a good healer, man. Like, I still haven't leveled mine up because I just have other healers that I use all the time. But yeah, not quite S tier, but a good healer. Relius, another healer. But like, Relius is just a monster. Like, he's so difficult to deal with, and just an average speed reviver that can revive for that much chance. I think it's 40% chance with 20% HP. He's very dangerous. So yeah, Relius would definitely be an S tier hero from this list. Roz, same thing. Fast speed sniper, potential to hit all of the other heroes on the board. So she's an S tier hero. And then my man, Feri Feri Boom Boom. Xiang Jing. He's just amazing. You can't even like he's above S tier. He's just so great. Like I really, really would love him. Fantastic hitter and heals the whole team and gives them dodge. Just a great hero. Right. So 3 rows left. Smart Tongue, S tier all day long. Snowball, S tier all day long. Spar Toy, another S tier hero, the newest hero that we have in the game. He summons fiends for everyone. He hits everyone for a boatload of damage. I like this hero a lot. He's fantastic. So Spar Toy, definitely. Stain Tongue, S tier. I mean, there's too many. Honestly, they would all be in the S tier. If I had a tier list, I'd just be whacking these people in S tier. No problem. No questions asked. Tammy Tomo, yeah, he's new. He's been given a buff. Like he hits all. There's a truckload of damage. You know what? I guess if I'm going to put Spar Toy in S tier, I kind of have to put Tammy Tomo in S tier as well because he can hit all for a truckload of damage. And then who else do we have? Teddy. Little bit unfortunate. I'm not completely sold on Teddy. I just don't really think, again, like I said, heroes that put heroes to sleep don't seem to work very well in the world of Empires and Puzzles. These guys like to stay awake. They like to go into battle with both eyes open. And that is how we like it here at Empires and Puzzles. Now, Thelonious is, I'm a massive fan of Thelonious. Not a lot of people really like the heroes that increase the dot damage, like a Matilda type effect, but he is absolutely fantastic. I would say S tier. The Hatter, his stats are a bit dated, but his skill is not. So yeah, if you have him, you're probably going to need second limit breaks to get him to where you want him to be, but he is a fantastic hero, so you can't go wrong with the Mad Hatter. I wish they'd release some kind of costume for him. They probably will. Who knows when. And then Toxic Candra, one of the best healers in the game, just gives that increase of mana and the cleanse. Just a fantastic... She doesn't have a cleanse, shit. My math, I'm all over the place today. Sorry, it's too much to remember, but she is an insanely good hero. And I think she does have a cleanse. And then who else do we have from this row? Winifred, I recently picked her up actually in the Soul Exchange, and she's an insane hero. Just really good damage, block buff, and that Bard mana talent as well means that I use her alongside Costume Lady of the Lake, or Lady of the Lake without the costume, but with the costume, if you know what I mean. And she gets off in 9 tiles, just amazing. Sandrella, again, another S tier hero. Just a hard hitter, and she can wipe a whole team. If you're not careful, if you bring ice heroes against her, she will kill you, no questions asked. And the hero next to her, Gamara, is exactly the same, but for a different reason. If you have anyone that helps gain mana on your team and you take them up against Gamara, they are dead when she fires off. She can wipe a whole team in an instant. I've seen it and I'm amazed by it. She's just a super duper super powered hero and just an S tier hero. No ifs, ands or buts. And that is going to be about it from this list. Nobody else in the last row. There's some good heroes, but again, not quite great heroes like some of the rest of these. So I think we've gone over like all 116 of these heroes. I think about, at least I'd say about a third of these heroes, or a quarter maybe, would make the S tier list. There are some extremely good heroes in the nature element. So it's, like I said before, it's been a challenge. But I now have the absolute amazing honor of sharing with you guys my top 10 nature heroes in the whole of Empires and Puzzles of all time up to February 2021. So let's go. Number 10. It's my man Hammer Tusk. Now, I just said this about Hammer Tusk, but I'm going to say it again. He is just going to make any single hero in your roster better because he's going to make them hit harder. And that is it. That is all you need to know about Hammer Tusk. Any damage that is being done, whether it's tiles, whether it's special skills, you know, whether it's whatever damage it is, all damage is going to be increased by 50% for the following 4 turns. plus he hits the target nearby for 360%. So as an event hero, if you want to do really well in events, he is an absolute must. Yes, you can get away with some of the goblins and other dark magic nowadays, but Hammer Tusk is the way forward. Honestly, he's just an insanely good hero. He will help your roster to no end. And just because of his versatility, sheer versatility, he makes my number 10 spot. Now, moving on to number 9, it is Sandrella, the mystical princess from whatever land she's from, with her staff of mana control. Just a boatload of damage. So 450% damage to the target and all ice enemies. So say you got 2 ice enemies, that's a guaranteed average speed hit. 450% to 3 enemies, which is as high as any of the average speed heroes in the game. Or as the highest average speed damage dealers in the game. Then this bit where she automatically gives them this minus attack effect, where it's 407 damage to the target and to all ice enemies when the mana's full, and reduces the mana by 50%, and alters the power of nature shields and gives 30% more mana, and decreases the mana of the nature shields for the other heroes, and spawns the annoying power gems that we all know and hate, and gives the troop damage modifier. Just everything going on with Sandrella makes her an insanely good hero, and she's number 9. Now moving to number 8, it is Smart Tongue. And I had a battle with this pick, to be honest. I was torn between Smart Tongue and Leaf Whisk, and I was going back and forth. And to be honest, there is really nothing between the two. If I could pick both of them, both goblins would be in this spot at number 8. But Smart Tongue just slightly won out for one very, very small reason. So, I mean, she gets this wither effect where all enemies get the negative 250 attack, which is actually pretty huge because it means that she's reducing their ability to deal damage. She reduces their health as well by 600. And then all enemies get this negative defense against special skills, which means the whole rest of your team can take advantage of everything that she's just done right, which makes her an incredible hero, an incredible support hero. She doesn't stand up as well on her own, potentially as Leaf Whisk does, but then Leaf Whisk, again, he's a support hero. They're both support heroes. So like I said, it was like splitting straws between the two of them. But at the end of the day, I just think Smart Tongue, even though she's running slightly slower, is the better hero, just by a minuscule amount, like a gnat's whisker. So she makes my number 8 spot. Now moving on to number 7, we have Toon Elkinen. Although, like I said, he's only here in the Toon version because there's only room for 1 card on here. If there was room for more, I'd have put them all on. But he is absolutely amazing hero. Like his fast speed, the second costume specifically, I would say for Elkinen is amazing. But he's dealing a massive amount of damage now. I know 410% doesn't sound like a huge amount, but because of his high stats, over 1,025 there, you can see, plus you give him the second limit breaks, he's just dealing a huge amount of damage at fast speed, heals himself for a percentage of the damage that he's dealing, and then the extra damage against ice adds on. I think it's about 50%. Maybe it's not quite that much, but it's a huge amount extra damage as well. So just an amazing hero, really good damage dealer and excellent survivability. So really good defensive hero, and the mana shield doesn't harm him either. So he makes my number 7 pick. Now at number 6 we have Granny Ninja. Now, Granny Ninja is probably, for me, I would say the second best healer in the nature element. So I think it tells you what's coming. But she is just an insanely good healer. The fact that she's able to, at very fast speed, or faster than very fast speed, boost the health of all allies by 370, and then give all allies that increase of 33% mana generation and the increased defense for 2 turns. And if you hold on to the other charges, it just gets better and better. And like, she just makes it so that the team is so hard to kill. As an attacking hero, she just makes you feel invincible. As a defensive hero, she just makes you feel like you're never going to be able to kill this team. So that's what makes her my number 6 pick. She's just an insanely good hero. And if you have her and you have underestimated her, go ahead and level her. You won't regret it. Now, number 5 is Ferris. Ferris is a monster. I mean, not just by the way he looks, but by every single thing that he does, and he does so well. Starting with the class, with him being a rogue, the core where he does, it's the poison core. Now I can see that poison icon. There it is. I knew it was poison. But yeah, just dot damage of 2 different types from the same hero is awesome. You know, it's a huge amount. 480 bleed damage, plus it increases with the limit breaks and emblems. 360 damage to the target and nearby is a pretty decent whack. Plus he gives the poison damage as well. He's just amazing. You know, if you have this guy and you have Thelonious from the Magic family, you're missing a trick if you don't put the 2 of these heroes together, because he's going to just wipe the team within a couple of turns, and then it's, you know, job done. So he makes my number 5 spot, and he's also an insanely good looking hero. Just amazing. Not in the same way that Maya is, but just incredible looking hero. Great art. Now moving on. Number 4, Relius. Oh man, Relius is just such a tricky hero to go up against. One of the owls that, again, like I say, landed on the right side of the owl family. And he is just the best reviver in the game now. So, I mean, there was some decisions to be made in our alliance this past Rush War as to whether Relius was going to be a better option than somebody like Mother North. And we did come to the consensus between us all that Relius was going to be the better option. Just insanely good hero, and also for the fact that most people don't really know how to deal with Relius yet. He is that new as well. But let's just see. I mean, so look, each fallen ally has a chance to 40% chance to get revived with 30% HP. I thought it was 20 when we just went over this list, but 30% HP? Are you kidding? That's pretty much a guarantee that they're going to come back with enough HP to survive a few turns. And then he recovers 30% health for all allies. They all get, I mean, the revival happens first. They get the HP, then the heal happens, which just makes him devastating. And they get this Moonrise Ward, which reduces incoming special damage by up to 800, reduces damage by additional 30% for when the attacker's holy, because they all hate holy heroes for some reason I still can't figure out. Maybe it's because they have to do with the sunshine and the owls are in the dark. Oh my gosh. Light bulb. Yeah, that's probably it. But Relius is an absolutely insane hero, and he makes my number 4 spot. Now let's get into the top 3. So counting down, number 3 is Frond. And I know this is probably going to be a surprise for some people, but for whoever has Frond, this shouldn't come as a surprise. So Frond is just a damage machine. Really understated looking. He looks like a spindly, like twig. But his core, he's got the destructive core. Plus, he's received a buff on his damage. I think he's gone from 355 up to 385. And he's running at fast speed. And he deals extra damage against boosted health. And all allies get that increase of 70% damage for special skills. So it's all allies' normal attacks and special skills, that deal an additional 70% damage against targets with boosted health. He chops down boosted health. He says, hell no, you can't have boosted health if you're going up against me. And then he kills you and he makes sure that you stay dead. He's just an insanely good hero, fast speed damage dealer, and he's probably the best at it. Now in the number 2 spot, and this might come as a surprise to some, but shouldn't to others, It's Ferry Ferry Boom Boom Xiang Jing. And Xiang Jing is probably the most used. In fact, I know he is because I've counted this. He is the most used nature hero on the top 100 raid defenses at the moment. He's the hero that I've seen in the most war videos that I've watched in the top 100 alliances with people who are going up into wars. But he's only in my number 2 spot. But that being said, he is an absolutely insanely good hero. And it's very, very close between him and the number 1. He deals 610% damage to the target and heals all allies for 40% of the damage dealt. All allies also get a chance to dodge, which is massive for the next 4 turns, so it makes them more difficult to kill. He's just got so much versatility. You can pretty much pop him in any single spot. Sorry, guys. You can pretty much pop him in any spot on a defensive team, and he will outperform any other nature hero that you put in that spot. He's just that good. And he makes my number 2 spot. So now it is time to reveal the number 1 hero for the nature element in the legendary heroes for 2024. So without further ado, my number 1 pick is Gamara. Gamara. I mean, she is, if you've seen any videos of her, if you've seen how strong she is, or if you've gone up against her, and you have somehow forgotten not to take any heroes that help out with mana. Sorry, guys. Then you have been in for a world of pain, and you've seen the absolute devastation of this hero. I mean, straight up front, she's going to deal 300% damage to all enemies with a massive team power, 953, and a huge attack stat. She's well built on the stat side of things. And then the caster gets an additional 100% power. So she's kind of like the average speed Quinnell, but she's a hit all hero, and she's increasing that power up to an additional 200% damage. So the next time she hits, she is definitely wiping your team. But she also casts the mana corruption ailment, which means that every time any enemy receives mana from any additional source, they get 250 damage. So happy birthday, everyone. Sorry, guys. I'm getting rid of this cough. I thought I was over it, but I'm not. So honestly, she is just an insanely good hero. I don't think anybody can argue the fact that she is just a team destroyer, a one-man wrecking machine, a one-woman wrecking machine. Power to the people. She's just an insanely good hero. So Gamara takes the number 1 spot, and she's a fantastic hero. Now I do have a new blood hero in this group. So one that was released after this list was made, and it wouldn't be complete without me mentioning him. But the new blood hero for the nature heroes is my man Nogu, the Champions family hero, and he was the advent of the 1,000 team power hero. So we can't go away without mentioning Nogu. He's a pretty good hero, but again, like I say, he is a very new release, so I'm not sure whether we would have made this list. Just the sheer amount of top tier heroes that we have in the nature element is very, very tricky to say that he would have made the top 10. But his special is excellent, massive amount of damage, great, the bleed damage, and he's also he also hates boosted health, as you can see. For the next 3 turns, the target and nearby enemies convert boosted health to max health reduction. I mean, that is just adding insult to injury, and I do like this hero a lot, so I think he's going to be absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, this last video in the Legendary Heroes series. So let me know, again, like I said, let's get this video to 150 likes, and I'll do the ones on the 4 stars. We'll count down the 4 stars, we'll go through the 3 stars, and I think, to be fair, I think that will be fun for a lot of people, maybe a bit more fun than the 5-star heroes even, because more people have them, you know, and more people want to know where to use them. So please do let me know in your comments what you guys think, and if you'd like me to make those videos, and I definitely will. Yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Please do drop us a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and you don't want to miss any future videos. I've got a lot to come, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Bye for now, guys.